Welcome back to Regular Guys Outdoors. I'm Chris. I'd like to do an update on two things I reviewed before this turkey season, and that is the Stevens Model 555, the youth model, and the Alps Outdoors turkey vest. Let's start with the gun. So I guess first of all I would like to say that I think the long range barrel, short range barrel concept has been validated for me. It worked out really well for me. I used the lower barrel, which is the close range barrel, on both birds in North Carolina because they were both well under 20 yards. So this gun is definitely in my turkey hunting future, and let me tell you why. First off, it is extremely lightweight. We knew that going into it because I think it's under 5.5 pounds, and it might be right at about 5 pounds flat. I don't remember the spec exactly, but it is extremely lightweight. It is also extremely easy to load and unload, and that can come in handy when say you're getting out of the car, you're going to go walk down the ridge, call, nothing, get back to your car. So I like to be loaded in that situation. I don't want to forget to load if I just leave the shells in my pocket. So I like to load, and then when I get back in the car, most states and everything, you need to be unloaded to put it back in your car. And so you're not having to rack the action, cycle a semi-auto or anything like that. So you're not beating up your expensive shells going in and out of your gun. So you just crack it open, take them, put them in, throw it in the car. No big deal. You're done and on the move. The gun held up pretty well. The wood stock, I sweat on it a lot when it's slung behind me, and I'm carrying it like this, which I don't sling carry it a lot, but I do carry it like that some. And most of the time it's more like this. It's sitting like this or something like this. And so I will sweat on this part of the buttstock a lot from my armpit. And the wood and the wood finish held up really nice. I don't know if I'll be able to tell anything from that, but sometimes it would get a little bit discolored, and I would just wipe that off with a rag. So the varnish on it held up pretty good. Kind of happy with that. Because there are times when I'm wearing just the ghillie suit, so it's like the screen ghillie suit with the little leafy stuff, and then my bare skin, so I'm sweating right through that really well. So held up really well. Wet weather, when it gets wet, it's easy to maintain. It just comes apart real easy, and I would typically spray it down with some WD-40, making sure to get in all these little nooks and crannies, because you've got those little spots between the barrels and of course the vent rib. You got a lot of nooks and crannies in there, so I make sure to get it in there, wipe it down good, spray it down the barrels, punch it out with the cleaning kit I always carry around with a bore snake there. So can do that. Make sure all my steel parts are treated with the WD-40, and the aluminum parts, which is the receiver and some of this components up in here, they're not going to rust. So worked out really well for the wet weather. And I guess the one thing I found hurt me in Mississippi and in North Carolina on that first bird in North Carolina was my camera setup being down on the bottom side. So when I'm like this and the camera, or I got the barrels and the sights just above, say, the vegetation or whatever I'm using to conceal myself in, the camera can end up being in the leaves and stuff. So I'd like to have it set to the side like I have on my little Mossberg, have it right off to the side of the barrel, so it's more like this instead of up under here. But that's just that. I might not be able to do much about that, but anyway, moving on to the vest. The vest held up good. There were times where I'm carrying a significant amount of weight when I've got about 5 quarts of water, 2 decoys, say my wet weather top, and maybe a hoodie or something I took off from earlier in that morning. So this can start to weigh a pretty good amount with that much stuff in it. And it held up good. These straps on a long day with the heavy weight, they are very thin. They don't have a whole lot of padding to them. So that can start to wear on you a little bit. And I did break this, it was like a hoop that you can just kind of pick it up by like this. I did break one of those off. Other than that, everything's holding up fine. use-wise with this kickstand. The kickstand does, once in a while, or say some of the time, when you go to lean up against a tree and the tree has those roots coming out exposed right at ground level, you can find yourself trying to get these feet to where I can just have this against the tree, because I don't always kick it out when I'm against a tree. So it's just leaning against the tree, and I use it like that. So that sometimes gets in the way a little bit. Once or twice it got hung up as I'm going through briars or vines and stuff like that. The legs got hung up, and one time they got hung up when I was going over a log. I kind of hung up a little bit on the log, but other than that, works out pretty good. And I think I would rather have these legs and those little inconveniences, those little inconvenient nuances every once in a while, because having these legs and be able to just kick out and lean on it anywhere is pretty awesome. Well, that's it for the turkey gear review. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Help us to not be the slowest growing YouTube channel out there, and hit that subscribe button down there. As always, thanks for watching.